the day I had my son, I did not sleep for like 12 hours. I I had my son, everybody was happy and all that, so I've not slept. I've not eaten because I rushed down from somewhere to take her to the hospital to stay with her. My sister was there with me. She was the only one there with me, but I was talking with my friend, my cousin, and we were. So nobody really asked me, guy, how are you? I did like, I think 24, 48 hours. My brother would see this and he would just laugh. I did close to 48 hours not closing my eyes.
Wow.
And there was no time to eat because you become, like, I made that tweet online and it went viral that time. I said, nobody will tell you that husband is just a title. You are a glorified errand boy, especially when you have a child.
So hey guys, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Wendy's Weekly Recap. Long time no recap. Anyways, like I said, we are back. Okay, so this week has been everything we expect a typical Nigerian week to be about. Sometime this week there was a post that went viral. It was a podcast between a lady and her guest was a young man. I'm sure most of us would have heard or come across clips from that podcast because many blogs, posted it, and even some other content creators reacted on it. And, various reactions varied, people's opinions, schools of thought were all over the place. Now, let me tell you about what the podcast was about. It was about a young man married 5 years. He talked about how he met his wife, how, his upbringing, university. I listened to the whole podcast. So trust me when I tell you, I know what I'm talking about. So he talked about how he met his wife, how marriage has been, how in Africa, most men, not all men, do not get prepared for what parenting, for marriage, for that commitment, for that responsibility or burden, duty that comes with the title being married, being a married person, being a leader, being, the one that the whole family depends on, rests upon for comfort, for safety. Nobody prepares you for that. Not many families had, amongst the millennials, had homes where your father will come and sit you or brother down or sit you down as a man and tell you, son, this is how you navigate life as a man when you grow up. Not many people had that growing up. So they had to learn on the job, rough it out, made a lot of mistakes, as we can see it play out. So it got to a point during the interview when he was asked about fatherhood, and he goes that nobody cares about you, the man, when you become a father, a new father. Nobody asks about your welfare. Nobody cares about you and your needs. All attention goes to the mother. He goes to say they all pay attention to the mother, that when he had his son, he could remember that nobody asked him if he had eaten, that he went 24, almost 2 days, almost 48 hours without having any sleep, without having anything to eat. Not until his brother came and, took him for a drive. Come, I've noticed that you have not rested. I noticed that you have not eaten. Come, let us go, and he gave him a cold drink and gave him food, made sure he ate. And that was when he realized that, true, I never chop. Now, I want to take you back. I'm going to personalize this and tell you about my journey. Now, my journey into motherhood was not easy at all. I waited. When you hear somebody waited, I waited, and when it was time for me to start having children, I had them back to back. There was no rest. My children are just exactly 1 year apart, on the same day, back to back, 1 year apart. So it was tough. It was really, really tough. I could remember when I had my second son in 2019. It was so difficult because just 1 year before that time, it was exactly the same day because they were born on the same day, just 2018 August 31st, 2019 August 31st. Yes, so my body had not even healed from the first this thing birth. It was cesarean operation. My body had not healed completely. Then I had the second one. It was hellish. I could remember that when I saw the mirror for the first time, before after the CS, when I got up to start walking several hours later, I saw in my room there was a mirror and I looked at my stomach. It was bruised. I don't have pictures, God. It was bruised, from the pulling. They'll be careful not to give you this very white stitch, but then they tugged on my flesh. You know how elastic this flesh is, this skin is. They tugged, they pulled it with all sorts of things, all sorts of instruments. I remember how bruised I was. And then I looked at my skin, I was like, will my body ever go back to normal? It was traumatic. Then the child was now was in intensive care, was sick. Then me myself, I had high blood pressure. That even after delivery, normally when you have this pregnancy induced high blood pressure, once the cause of that high blood pressure, which is the baby, once the baby is removed from you, you go back to normal. Your blood pressure drops, crashes, becomes normal. But with this second one, it kept being elevated to the point that I exhausted all the medications for the blood pressure. I exhausted everything because I was thinking about my child. My child, will he make it out of this place alive? That was just the only thought consuming me. So instead of my blood pressure to now start crashing because this cause has been removed from me, it doubled, it tripled because now there's a new problem on ground. Tell me if that was the time to even think about myself. If that was the time to even think about trying to produce breast milk. If there was a time to even think about my husband eating, having anything to eat, that was not the time. And I know that there are many women that have traumatic birth experiences, many women that go through this trauma, post-traumatic, postpartum depression. They don't even know what they are going through, and the least they can think about is somebody not having food, somebody not eating. I would say it was a very selfish. Sorry, guys, I had to change location because we were running really, really late for the boys' soccer practice. So just ignore whatever surrounding I'm at and focus on the message. Okay, so I was saying that in that instance, in that situation, I couldn't have possibly been thinking of anything or anybody else. I wasn't even concerned about my health. I wasn't even worried about my blood pressure that could have killed me. At some point, the nurses, the doctors did not allow, like if they want to come into my room, if it was time for my medication, like for my injection for pain, they would tiptoe. My room was pitch black. The door was no noise, like no noise. You won't turn on the light just so that it doesn't trigger the blood pressure, it doesn't spike it. I don't wake up or anything. I didn't see my child for the first 2 or 3 days at all. It was that bad. And then you don't know, many women go through very traumatic experiences. They go through very painful labor, very, very painful labor. I would hear women groaning from labor pain, writhing from this pain, and I'll be like, Jehovah, that is only the groaning. When the Bible tells you about the Holy Spirit to make you groan, that's the only way I can explain that groaning sound, to tell you that they are indescribable. You cannot describe the amount of pain a woman undergoes, whether cesarean or vaginal delivery, to give birth to a child. And then you now hear this young man, talking about nobody cared to ask him if he had eaten, but that the woman is being asked if she would take pap, if she would take pepper soup. Do you know that? Let me now tell you, if you think that thing is enjoyment, number one, it is not enjoyment. everyday pap. Now this woman knows that she has to take pap, she has to take all these things to produce enough breast milk to stimulate, the hormones and whatever that is responsible for production, breast milk production. She has to take it out of duty. Do you think that watery pap is enjoyment? Do you think she really wants to take that pepper soup? Do you think she is craving pepper soup? If she wants to take that thing, is not even pepper soup. It is not even pepper soup. They call it jimiri. It is not pepper soup. It doesn't have the oil, it doesn't have the assorted that would make a meal enjoyable. No, it is just dry fish. It is just water she has to drink to repair her womb, to repair her uterus. You think it's for her? My brother, it is not for her. Oh. It is not for her to be refreshing. It is for her to still produce food for your child, for the child she has just given birth to. Heck, if you want a woman, if you feel like she's enjoying, then she should be offered steak, things like mashed potatoes, things like seafood boil, good food, vegetable soup, and whatever it is she's craving. She should be offered chocolate, she should be offered ice cream. But no, she's not being offered those things. She's offered pepper soup, she's offered oatmeal, she's offered pap that she has to force herself to take. She's not even taking cold water, she's taking warm to hot water. Is that the care that you want? Is anybody coming to ask a woman, have you ever seen? I have never read, I have never watched in a movie where a woman is newly postpartum and somebody is asking her, oh, when was the last time you uploaded a reel? When was the last time you took you laid your edges? When was the last time you wore that wig you post for Instagram? When was the last time you went through your feed? When was the last time you binged on something? Nobody is asking her that. The beds they are betting her early. It is so that her wound, her episiotomy will heal. The food that she's being offered to eat as early as 7 a.m. is so that, because that is the peak period when your breast milk begins to, when your hormones are aligned, so that you capitalize on that, take advantage of that period and produce food that will feed your child. It's going to be very selfish. Maraji compared it to you comparing cancer and malaria. Both of you are sick, but there is really no basis for comparison to compare a cancer patient and somebody that is battling malaria. Not saying that you're not, trivializing your experiences, but we know that they are not the same. He says he went to 24 hours without sleep. Do you know how many months, how many weeks, how many years a woman will go without sleep? You think she's sleeping, but her head she's wiring, the neurons in her brains are overactive, are overthinking, over processing issues, processing what will be, what is supposed to be. This is an endless cycle she does for years and years. And like Maraji said, even as a mother, even after the child has left your house, doesn't need as much care from you anymore, the mother is still restless. And you're comparing 2 days of lack of sleep, 2 days of not sleeping, to a woman that has to painfully breastfeed, painfully extract, painfully make sure her body heals so that she's ready. She's okay to bear you more children. Bro, now, come on. Do you know how many days she has to go without eating the things she loves? Do you know how many days she has to stay off the things she loves so that she heals? Their experiences are totally different. A man coming out in 48 hours, that means your newborn was not even 2 days old, your baby was not even 2 days old when you began to complain, when you began to notice that your wife is getting all the attention and you're not. Your wife has not even been discharged. There is no hospital that will discharge you barely 24 to 48 hours after putting to bed. The child will take BCG now. After BCG, they will now discharge you. What if the child has jaundice? What if the child has to be exposed to, the UV light for a few hours or a few days? Your wife was not even discharged when you came out, when you started complaining about not getting attention, and then you're saying you're just a glorified houseboy. Who else? It is an honor. The Bible says that if you refuse to do the things that will please God, if you refuse to praise God, He will raise stones. Do you know what it is to be compared, to be vis-a-vis a stone? Stones are things that are unnoticeable, useless on the streets. He will raise stones to do it for you. So if you feel like, oh, I'm only good for the errands that I'm running, I'm only good to go buy things, I'm only good to sit and watch this baby for a few minutes while my wife has her bath, my brother, you will be replaced. You will be replaced. The strength of a woman is like, no, you can't explain it. She will be fine without you, and God will always have people, use people to take your place. And then what would be your achievement if at the crucial time of your child's life, of your wife's life, battling for her life, battling for her sanity, you're nowhere to be found? And you call yourself a husband, you call yourself somebody should be, that is taking responsibility over someone else's life. And these are the things that are bothering you. These are the things that you decided to pick out of the whole experience. I remember, I think 2 years ago, because I was done. I've been done with childbearing. It was traumatic. It was a traumatic period for me. After I was discharged from the hospital, because I stayed longer because of my son, I came home and my stitch loosened. I had to go back. And you say we should ask you whether you have eaten rice, shofeje, spaghetti, ofe, spicy indomie. Brother, is everything okay upstairs? Hey. Wow. For real though. How do you even have appetite to know that you would need food, to know that you have not eaten when your wife, unless you don't love your wife, and the way he made that statement, he said, when I had my son, everybody was just happy. You not follow happy? Weren't you happy that your wife literally went through the valleys of the shadows of death and came out, even with some scratches, she came out alive? People die. There's statistics all over the world, not just in Nigeria, not just in third world countries. All over the world, people die from childbirth. People die. People get permanently disfigured, permanently disabled. I know of somebody that had an epidural, and up till now, she's paralyzed on her left side. What am I even saying? My epidural, up till now, my second son, my last born, is 6 years old. I still have insensitivity. Like, if you touch my lower abdomen, if you touch this part of my body, bro, I don't feel anything. I won't feel it because that place has been dead. Even though it was not as insensitive as it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it's getting the sensitivity back small. I would say I'm at 5%. If you pinch me, no matter how hard you pinch me, I can point at a part of my tummy, my lower abdomen. I can point at a part and tell you to pinch it. Pinch as hard as you want. Pinch with all you have. I won't feel anything. Yes, that's the sacrifice. These are the things we go through. That's the sacrifice, the price we have to pay to bring life. The sensitivity is coming back. I will not lie. It used to be in a far wider area than what it is now. So it's closing in. But still, there is a part I will tell you. I will point at you. I've told my husband this thing severally now. He will pinch. But I don't feel anything. You touch me there, I don't feel nothing. This is just one of many. People lose their lives. My sister told me about somebody that used to make her hair, like her hairdresser, that went blind. She went blind, then the thing degenerated and she died after having her child. People lose their teeth. People will lose 1, 2, 3, 5 teeth. People vomit. My sister, My sister would vomit if she sees, not if she smells, not if she perceives. If she sees goats on the street, she will start vomiting. Her Hg, hyperemesis gravis, was at an all-time high. She won't eat, she will think of food, she will vomit. She will see you eating, she will vomit. She will perceive food, she will vomit. And she will do this till she has that child. These things are being talked about now way more than they were being talked about before. But I feel like a lot of men still don't get it, because for this man to come out and make this kind of, complaints, and no, not in this context, talking about it in a broader, if he had worded his thing, if he had worded that statement in a different way, maybe people would have been able to relate with him. Like, I know that my husband, when I told him like 2 years ago, are you sure you don't want a child? Let's try for another one, let's try. He'll be like, see, don't you pity yourself? Yes, so don't you pity yourself? Like him, that is not the man, that is not the woman, that has not gone through, that did not go through anything. He's still traumatized. He wasn't allowed to come into the operating room. Of course, he does not even have, even if they gave him access, he will not enter. He was only peeping from one hole, the peephole. He would look and say that they are still struggling with his wife, and he will run mad, he will run away. He will come for another 1 or 2 seconds, he will run away. So whatever it was he saw during the time he was seeing me lay on that table still haunts him till tomorrow. And he'll be like, don't you pity yourself? I can't allow you go through that again. I won't let you go through that again. I will not let you go through that again. That is a man, oh. That's a man. Like, for all he cares, since I'm the one pushing for it, he'll be like, okay, maybe she has healed, maybe she's really ready, let's give it a go. Not be saying you don't want to. Not be saying if you give him now, if he sees it on the platter, he won't accept it. Then he says, apart from that, he knows what the toll it takes on him. Seeing me, my Jehovah. My second son was an emergency cesarean section. In fact, I went for my antenatal visit, and the blood pressure was just so much that they told me, no, you can't continue with this pregnancy. That was exactly 36 weeks. I clocked 36 weeks that day. I can't continue with this pregnancy, but I'll be okay. I would feel okay. And he was like, that is even worse. Like, he would rather I feel sick, I'm showing symptoms, then he knows that, oh, this person is really going through it, her condition is bad, then I'm okay, I'm doing well, doing everything I'm supposed to do, but I'm dying. Like, how will he continue with life if I died in that condition? It's just like how high hypertension kills people. They just drop down from doing their most regular basic everyday thing. It is worse that way. He said he would rather, I'm in bed, sick, or not, like that's what he wishes. And it will register that at the back of his mind that, this person is this delicate, this sensitive. Then you're up and about and he hears another story, God forbid. So I went to the hospital, they checked the blood pressure, and they were like, hell no, you can't continue. We are admitting you immediately. In fact, they began to call all their anesthesiologists, neopediatric surgeon, because all those, experts have to be on ground before they perform this cesarean section. And everybody else was on ground, but the anesthesiologists that said he was coming in later that night. So by morning, first thing in the morning the next day, I was prepared and booked for surgery. And that was how I got my second son out. Now, when they told me I was going to have that CS, I wasn't panicking. I did not panic, because only God in heaven knows. This child made it impossible, physically impossible for me to move. I know the worker. I couldn't take a step without being in so much pain. Like, there is really no basis for comparison. The man still goes about his normal life. The man still goes about his normal business. His only problem, his only issue is just how to provide excuse me, it's just how to provide for the family, make ends meet. Probably he's thinking about how to be a good father. But that is times 17 what the woman is processing in her head. All what you're thinking, she's thinking it too, and then more. So I saw that this thing, I can go on and on. This video will not end, but I just thought to come and share my 2 cents, bring it to your, bring it your way, bring this video your way, and let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your observations, what your own experiences are. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Give it a massive thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you again very soon. It's your girl Wendy for now.